Good morning, family. Today is the 21st of February. It's Tuesday morning. It's about 6:54 in the a.m. and we are cooking some chili beans today. And we are putting them in the pressure cooker. And I just simply washed them and I filled the bowl up to 3/4 of the way full of water. I just rinsed off the hocks and I placed them in the water. So we're gonna set it for let's say about 45 minutes. Okay, family, I'm gonna set it for 30 minutes instead of the 45 because I'm gonna just be here on top of this. So let's let this get started and going. Okay, family. While our ham hocks are starting to cook, we're going to start browning our ground beef. You want to cook this ground beef down, but you do not want to add your chorizo or anything into your ground beef until it is completely browned and you have drained it completely. Okay, family. We're going to add pork chorizos, okay? But what you want to do prior to putting your chorizos inside of your meat, you want to drain that ground beef. I drained it pretty good, but I used a pretty good grade of ground beef, so it didn't really yield that much grease. So you just kind of want to score that. I know you guys probably can't see it really good because it's steaming up the lens. But you want to incorporate that into your meat. And we want to brown that as well. Now, at this point in time, you can also add a couple of your seasoning. So we're going to put 2 of these in there. I'm going to cook about 1.5 pounds of pinto beans. So maybe we'll use 3 packs. We'll use 3 packs. How about that? We'll put in 3 packs because we are cooking a pretty good pot here. And you really want them to be seasoned really well. Our pressure cooker has just gone off, so it's been the 30 minutes that your hocks have cooked. Now, prior to putting your beans inside of that juice of the ham hocks, you want to taste that pot liquor first because ham hocks can be a little salty, so you want to be mindful of that. So let's get started on that end. Now, with your pressure cooker, if you do not take the pressure out of your pressure cooker prior to opening it, it will explode on you. So you definitely want to remove the pressure prior to opening up the lid because otherwise it will definitely explode. Okay, family. What you want to do with your beans prior to, you don't just take a bag of beans and pour them inside of your pot. That's not the way the game works. What you do is you go through your beans. You kind of want to pick out some that don't look too great, and those are the ones that you want to discard. Just like here, they'll have like rocks in them. And this was a rock that was inside of the beans. So you want to kind of go through the bag. See, I have a 2-pound bag here. Let's see if it's going to, there it is. I have a 2-pound bag, but for my family, I cook about a little bit more than a pound. So I'll cook about 1.5 pounds. Just kind of want to go through them a little bit and just make sure that there's no rocks. Okay, family, what we did was we allowed them to cook in the pressure cooker for 30 minutes. You could tell that they are pretty pliable. You see how it's kind of jiggling, which means that it's good and pliable. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add our beans to this. But prior to adding your beans, whenever you're cooking any type of smoked meat, you want to taste this pot liquor first. Because if not, sometimes it can be really, really salty based on the smoke of that meat. So you want to taste it prior to adding your beans to it or your greens or whatever you're cooking. So what we're going to do is we have a tablespoon of minced garlic. I'm going to put that in there. And we have an onion. So we're going to put the onion in there as well. And I washed my beans. Hold on one moment. Okay, so I washed the beans. We put about 1.5 pounds of pinto beans in here. So you simply want to start it off with the pot liquor of whatever smoked meat that you're cooking. You want to use that because that's a seasoning. You want to use that as a seasoning. Now, sometimes if your pot liquor is salty, you want to, pour half of that fluid off. Half of that off. And you want to rinse off your meat and then start back up if the meat is really salty. But in this particular case, it was not. So we can still use that. So we're going to use the sodium content from the meat. We're going to add a little garlic, the onion, and then we're going to crank that back up for another 30 minutes, and then we'll assess it again. Okay, now on our meat here, we simply just added the chorizos. We're still going to let it cook a little bit. You see the chorizo still needs to cook a little bit. We just simply added, we put no seasoning in here at this point, okay? So all we did was we browned the ground beef. We browned the ground beef. We poured off the fat. We added the pork chorizo. And we added 3 packets of the McCormick chili powder mix. Okay, family, I neglected to say that I sprinkled some chili powder onto our, I just simply sprinkled some of that onto our beans because we want that to boil inside of the bean. So I just sprinkled some in there. I really didn't measure it. I just kind of sprinkled some on top of there. Now, let me reiterate this too. Because when it comes down to your ham hock, if it's too done, you want it 3/4 of the way done. But if it's anywhere from 1/2 to 3/4 of the way done, you can boil those again with the beans, okay? Because what it's going to do is it's going to make them fall more off the bone if you continue to let them go. But if they're already falling off the bone prior to adding your beans, then you want to take them out of the liquid, okay? You want to take them out of its broth, set them to the side in a bowl and cover them, and then put your beans inside of your pot liquor and start them up to boiling. Okay, thanks. Okay, we're going to simply set this back on high. We're going to do it for another 30 minutes. Okay, family, I have simply added the ground beef and the chorizos onto our beans. And at this point now, what you want to do is you kind of just want to taste it and see where it's at on flavor. Once again, you want to keep in mind that the smoke taste can sometimes contain quite a bit of sodium. So if you are diabetic, you have heart disease and different things like that, you might be on a low sodium diet. So you want to be cognitive of that. But as far as me right now, I'm going to put a little Worcestershire sauce in here. I'm going to put no black pepper. You put absolutely no black pepper in your beans whatsoever. It changes the taste. So you don't want to put any black pepper in here, but I'm going to taste it. I'm going to put some seasoning salt if need be. I'm going to also put a little Worcestershire sauce, and I'm going to put about a teaspoon to a tablespoon of sugar. It's not to make your beans sweet. That's not the point here. But you're using it as a condiment to simply bring up the flavor. Okay, family, this is going to be our final cook. cooking time on here. So we're going to go with high. Let's merely go, say, 8 minutes. Because it's all done already. But I want those seasonings to settle in inside of the beans. The beans are already done. You saw that. And the meat is done. So once I combine it all together, set it for 8 minutes and it'll be dinner time. Hey family, I'm getting ready to plate this up. My daughter has made this cornbread and it looks so good. She's a good cook. She's trying really, really hard. She's only 12 years old. But look how her cornbread came out. And she put it in her grandma's old cast iron skillet. You did really, really well on this cornbread, my mom. Let me use a spoon and get the rest of it out of there. Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to digest meat really well, so I just pretty much want some beans and some juice. And throw a little potluck on there. Okay, here's my cute little bowl. Looks really good. Okay, bon appetit. Good night, family. Love you. Bye-bye.